Jai Radhindra.
Jai Jindra.
Yeah, we are starting now. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm a little bit late. Kept my problem with it. And it's
Kirit bhai, before we start, એક સવાલ છે કે હવે આપણે અત્યારે કરીએ છીએ વિડિયો, એની સાથે સાથે મોનાનો કોન્ફરન્સ નંબર થી થઈ શકે કે નહીં એની સાથે પેરેલલમાં?
ના
કેમ? કારણ કે આજે બધાની સાથે વાત કરી, everybody wants to have that option running at the same time.
Yeah, but it's not possible.
એમ?
Yeah.
અચ્છા.
Okay. Let's start now. Om Namo Sarvatrikavarti Arantanam. Om Namo Sarvatrikavarti Siddhanam. Om Namo Sarvatrikavarti Ayanam. Om Namo Sarvatrikavarti Vajjanam. Om Namo Sarvatrikavarti Savanam. Om Karam Sanyaptam Nityam Dhayanti Samaysaraya Swami Bhutya Chakasate Chitsabhavaya Bhavaya Sarva Bhavantavastide Agnanakaya Anganam Gnana Anjanasalaya Chaksuran Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah Tirthankaro Kirtana Jayavanta Varto Omkaranada Jinano Jayavanta Varto Jinana Sarana Sao Jayavanta Varto Netirthachara Jagama Jayavanta Varto Namo Tirthanadane Namo Omkaranadane Omkara Sangarotane Namo Te Sri Kunda Kundane Aho Upakara Jinavarano Kundano Dvani Divyano Jina Kunda Dvaniya Kya Aho Te Guru Kanano Aho Te Bhagavati Matan Dhruva Achalan Anupama Gati Pranila Sarve Sedanu
मैं आपको कह रहे हैं सुनाई नहीं दे रहा है.
समय प्राप्त हूँ एक शुद्ध सदा अरूपी ज्ञान दर्शनमय खरे कहीं अन्य को मारू जरी परमाणु मात्र नथी.
Can you hear me? Kushalji, can you hear me?
जाने जखर मोदय निरजरा बंदते मज मोक्षने.
I can hear you.
Hello, Jai Jirendra.
Kushal bhai cannot hear you.
Huh?
Kushal bhai cannot hear you, but maybe Kushal bhai nu potanu microphone. I just need.
आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही. रजनी भाई की आवाज तो आती है.
No.
Kirit uncle? Kirit uncle?
Yeah, go ahead.
Jai Jirendra, I want to welcome everybody who's new, and I'd like all of our new members to please mute themselves now.
How do you mute it?
Okay, I'll do it. Don't worry about it.
Please, everybody mute yourselves.
Okay. So, Radhibhai Gosalia is my mentor basically, and he's in Florida. And welcome, Radhibhai. And we are just going to find out what's happening today. We are continuing on stanza 6. We finished the Bhaavaarth, then we finished the sixth stanza. And now we are going to talk about Bhaavaarth. The Bhaavaarth is the one with question which Chabla wrote down. I think somebody's noise is still coming. Try to see. Okay, all right. So
That's a Kirit uncle.
ah,
There are two folks who are yet not muted.
okay, I'll mute all. Okay, all right. Okay. So I know I have muted everybody for a time being, and then once we progress, then I'll unmute so people can hear and everything, or they can talk also. So I'm right now in Devlali, and there is Ashtanika going on. This is second day of Ashtanika, and it's weather is very good and everything. And I'm talking from the Swadhay hall in Devlali. Okay, so we are starting with the Bhaavaarth of this sixth stanza. We finished the Tika and we took the longest possible time to go for Tika because it was very, 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 very important. Sixth stanza is the basis for the whole Samaysar. So once our foundation is strong, the next stanza onwards, we'll be able to grab lots of things very easily. So here, what we are doing is sixth stanza. So let me put the slides on it first. No, not introduction stanza, sorry. Just give me 1 second, I'll just fun it out, that stanza. I mean, the slides. Okay. Okay, so here we are with the Bhaavaarth. Bhaavaarth is further explanation. So we already know the basis that what is this sixth stanza want to convey us. We already know it very well now. So basically this Bhaavaarth, this further explanation by Jaychandji Chabda is a different perspective to look at the same stanza. What he mainly, Acharya Bhagwan wants to try to tell us that exactly the soul substance is independent and the mode is also independent. Dravya is independent, Parya is independent, and Parya by itself ends up making impurity or purity by its own doing. So this kind of things that we are going to learn in this one. So let's start going through this one and see what happens. So this is first the Bhaavaarth. It's a Gujarati, so I'm not going to read right now. And if you want to, you already have the slides, so you can read it out. And this is second page, so it's a little longer, but then he has explained very nicely exactly what he wants to convey to us, that soul substance is independent. Soul is eternal substance and mode is a transient in nature, and mode can be pure or impure by its own doing. So it shows the independence of the substance and independence of the mode, both the thing it tries to show us over here. So now let's see. So eternal soul substance is full of consciousness and bliss and is pure forever without any impurities within it. We already know that part, that soul substance is eternal. There was no impurity. Gold is a gold, whether it's in a mine, whether it's in a form of 100% pure gold or in the form of ornaments. Gold is gold. Same way, soul is a soul. Whether it's in a lowest form of life, nigod, or whether it's on a 5 sense sentient being like us, human being, or it could be liberated soul like Siddha Bhagwan. So eternal soul is a pure, eternal, full of consciousness. Now, when attention is directed to the eternal true nature of the soul, then purity is perceived. Remember, as we said before, that your attention can go only 2 ways. One is to the alien objects of the world, parapadarth, or you can direct it to your eternal soul substance. That only 2 ways your attention can go. So now, if I put my attention to the eternal pure nature of the soul, then I perceive its purity. Remember, I'm driving on the freeway. I'm going from point A to point B. I'm going from New York to Florida. On the way, there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of signboards that come in. I notice them, but they're not important for me. I don't pay attention to it. Only I see Florida, 350 miles, Florida, 250 miles, Florida, 150, like that. So that way, my attention is focused in one thing only. So same way here, when I direct my attention to eternal soul substance, then purity is perceived. If I'm looking at the alien objects of the world, then impurities are perceived. So when attention is directed to alien attachment, then impurities are perceived. When I'm directing my attention to eternal soul substance, then purity is perceived. It is, Acharya Bhagavan has made it so simple, and then he questions that we don't understand that why you mundane souls cannot change your directions and go from alien objects attention to the eternal soul substance. Why can't you do that? That's the same thing he's asking us. Now, in the modal vision, he cannot perceive the purity of the eternal soul substance and nature of the soul. Now, suddenly Acharya Bhagavan changes the gear and tells us that when I'm directing my attention to the alien objects of the world, that means I have a modal vision. When I'm directing my attention to the alien object of the world, that means called modal vision. When I'm directing my attention to my eternal soul substance, then it's called substantial vision. So now, my attention is to the alien objects or to my eternal soul substance, or other way of saying, my modal vision or my substantial vision. They both are same words. So he says, your modal vision is the reason for your problem. So try to work on it. That's what he says. And so Acharya Bhagavan walks us through the rest of the things. Let's see what it says. With modal vision, one makes it as a primary reason, and that way there is wrong faith. Remember, I have the capacity to make things as primary or secondary in nature. Let's say I'm extremely hungry and I'm fond of sweet, and I'm sitting at a dinner table. First thing, I'm going to put my attention to the sweets and start eating. The rest of the food materials are there, but my vision, primary reason I'm making is sweet only, and rest of the thing I make them as secondary, even though they are there. So with modal vision, it becomes a primary for me. This primary focus is on my modal vision. That means my primary focus is on the alien objects of the universe, and that is called wrong faith. This is wrong faith, modal vision, attention to the alien objects of the world. They are the same meaning. Their same meaning means I have a mithyatva. I have a wrong faith. Over here. In wrong faith, with auspicious and inauspicious inclination, one ends up with a transmigration. Now, when I'm making, see, the same word, Acharya Bhagavan gives from different perspective. First, he says that the alien object, attention to the alien objects. Then he says it's a modal vision. Then he says it's a wrong faith. Then he says, in that wrong faith, what I'm doing inclination of attachment and aversion. I'm doing rag and dvesh. Or in the other words, I'm doing auspicious and inauspicious inclination. I like something, I don't like something, those kind of things I'm doing it. And because of those type of inclinations, because of my auspicious and inauspicious inclination, I end up in the transmigration. So Acharya Bhagavan tries to make it so simple for us to explain why am I in a transmigratory cycle of life and death? Why am I having misery of this transmigration? Because I have auspicious and inauspicious inclination, because I have a modal vision, because I have a wrong faith, because my attention is directed to the alien objects of the world. All means the same thing. Then Now, Acharya Bhagavan comes back to substantial vision. With substantial vision, one makes mode as secondary and eternal true nature of the soul as primary. This gives right faith. So here, my modal vision or my substantial vision, I have a choice. Where do I want to go? Well, I'm going to modal vision, wrong faith. I'm going substantial vision, right faith. So this is faith attribute, has no complication, nothing. Simple thing. Either you are in the wrong faith or in the right faith. How can I come in the right faith? By making substantial vision. I make my attention drawn to my eternal soul substance. Remember, we gave that example. What was that example? That a child is crying because of the injury occurred to him, and he has lots and lots of pain. And so he's brought to doctor, and a child is crying and thrashing and everything. So it's impossible for doctor to work on a patient. And the child has an intense pain going on. So now doctor says, call the mother. So mother comes and takes the child in the lap and starts showing her affection toward the child and everything. She starts talking in the child's own language and everything. And then she also gives lollipop to the child. And now child started crying less and less. And now he stopped crying and start talking to mother. So now what happened? At this moment, does he have pain or not? Yes, he has a pain. But what happened? His attention is directed to mom right now. He has a love to his mom, and so his attention is to the mom. So even though pain is there, he's not perceiving. Whenever I have substantial vision, even my modes are there, I'm not perceiving them. I have just substantial vision. And that's a right faith. That's a true faith. That's a samyak darshan. That's an enlightenment. That's a self-realization. So this is what simple thing he starts with. Acharya Bhagavan starts simple thing in this Bhaavaarth. With right faith, one still has inclination of attachment, etc., but makes them secondary in nature. With that child, he still has a pain, but he made primary thing to mother's love. So when his attention was taken to directed to mother's love, even though pain is present, his attention is not there. Same way, when I'm in the right faith, when I have substantial vision, then what happens? I still have an inclination of attachment, etc. in the transmigratory soul. I still have those inclinations of attachment present, but they become secondary in nature. I'm not paying attention to those things. If I'm going from New York to Florida, all the signboards, they come. I don't pay attention to them. I just had one vision is my destination, how far it is, something like that. So having said that, and as you see that we are going a little bit faster also, because we have gone through all this thing in great detail for last 3 months, and you all know this part so well. So that's why we are proceeding in a little bit faster speed. Okay. And if there is if the question comes, maybe I'll unmute everybody, and probably if there is a question, you can always ask, and you can interfere, no problem. Where is audio? 1 second, okay. Okay, let's continue. I don't know where those things are. Okay. There is no inclination of attachment in the eternal true nature of the self. They both are entirely separate in nature. Modal vision, inclination of attachment, substantial vision, and I have the right faith. They both are having a different characteristics. Eternal true nature of the self is eternal in nature. It's full of consciousness. It is inert in nature. While inclination of attachment occurs in a mode, it is transient in nature. It's a modification. It comes and goes. It comes with the attention driven to the alien objects and everything. So these are the things that they are both entirely separate in nature from their own perspective. So delusion and wrong concept occurred due to attention drawn to the alien associated things. Delusion, wrong concept, mithyatva. How did mithyatva occur to me? Just because I drew my attention to the alien objects of the world. I just I put my attention to per padarth of the universe. So that's why I have delusion. That's why I have wrong concept. That's why I have mithyat. Now, alien things are not the reason for production of impurities. When I draw my attention to alien objects, then me, myself, is primary reason to create this impurity within me. Associated things are simply present as an instrumental cause. They're simply present instrumental cause. They did not say that, hey, look at me, I'm here. Look, no. I decided to look at those people, those objects, and that's why impurity occurred within me. So I am the reason. Buck stops at me. I am the reason. I'm the problem. I'm the creator of the nuisance and everything, not the alien objects. So this gives the independence of me as a soul substance, me as a substance. And everybody in the universe, they are independent. All the objects means soul, matter, medium of motion, medium of rest, space and time. They all are independent in nature. They exist because of themselves. Medium of motion, medium of rest, space and time. They are inert to start with. They never react with anybody else. So they are pure. Only two guys, soul and matter, they are the one, they are troublemaker. They try to interfere in each other's action. And mainly the soul. Soul says, I can do something, I can create something, I can destroy something. All kind of thinking soul does by looking at the alien object. And that's why impurity occurs in the soul substance. All right. Having said that, when the soul brings attention to the alien objects, then those objects as an instrumental cause, then soul ends up with the wrong faith. How did I get wrong faith? Just because you are present? Just because some unfavorable situation is present? No. The glass is half full or half empty is my own perspective. So alien object means per padarth is helpful or hurtful to me is all my making. It's all my inclination. It's all my thinking. So we have to be very careful. We have to understand I am the reason for my problem. Having said that, now we are coming to substantial perspective. The soul is perceived to be pure from substantial perspective. If I'm looking at the soul substance right now, and I'm looking at the soul as a substance, eternal soul substance, then it's a pure, inert, even if it is a soul of the lowest form of life, Nigod, or it's a soul of the heavenly life, soul of the human being, or soul of the liberated soul, Siddha Bhagwan. All the souls are pure in nature because we are looking at them from substantial perspective. But now when I bring the modal perspective in the picture, then soul is perceived as impure. Modal perspective means my vision is directed to the alien objects of the universe, and that's why I create impurity within me. So these impurities are perceived in the mode, in the transformation, in the paryay. The impurities are perceived in the transient thing which occurs in one moment and it gets destroyed in the same moment. So this modal perspective, and then I'm perceiving my soul as impure. See, this is very important. For substantial perspective, soul is pure. Modal perspective, soul is impure. Gold in the mine mixed with the dirt. If I look at the substantial perspective, that is a gold, pure gold. But when I put attention to the dirt association, then I say, oh, this is the dirt and the gold is mixed with the dirt and this is very impure and everything. So things remains the same. It's a dirt with the gold particles. My substantial perspective, then I see the pure gold. My modal perspective, then I see the dirt only. Gurudev Kanji Swami, one day he spoke extremely nicely after the Das Lakshan Parva, and when it's a Kshamavani Parva, and Gurudev Sri said, if me as a soul has seen anybody in the modal perspective, if me as a soul has seen or perceived anybody from modal perspective, then I'm asking for forgiveness because it's my own fault. So what he said, when he is a modal perspective, then impurity is perceived. But when you're looking at them substantial perspective, then everybody is pure. The lowest form of life is also pure. 1 sense life is pure. 2 sense, 3 sense, 4 sense, 5 sense lives are pure. Everybody is pure. Substantial perspective. So, for example, if I have a jaundice, what do I perceive everybody to be? Everything is yellow. And I can just say, this is yellow, this is yellow, this is... No, it's my perspective and I'm saying everything is yellow. It's my problem. It's not everybody else that they just overnight became yellow. So I had to take credit, and I had to take credit for my own wrong things and right thing. So when I make substantial perspective, everybody is Bhagwan Atma. Everybody is pure soul. But when I take a modal perspective, then somebody is, this is 1 sense life, and this is water bodies, and they are very poor, and some poor person, and he has no legs and no hands and no we feel sorry. No, that's a modal perspective. So I should have substantial perspective that, so what? He's a blind, but he's a soul. And so he doesn't have 1 sense. His eyes are not, but his perception and knowledge in the soul substance remains the same. One must take modal perspective as secondary and aim to have substantial vision. Remember, here, when we take a substantial vision, doesn't mean that we just threw the modal perspective totally out. No, modal perspective is present, but we make them as secondary. So we are not denying the existence of mode. We are not denying existence of paryay. But we just say, when I'm looking at a substantial perspective, then this paryay, this mode becomes secondary in nature for me. So here, there is lots of misconception to the general public that, they say, oh yeah, when you talk about substantial vision, then you don't consider mode at all. No, I do consider mode, but I consider that mode as a secondary in nature. When I'm looking at the dirt with the gold particle, I still see the dirt, but I make them as secondary. I look at the gold particles present within. Let's take another example. My wife has lots and lots of ornaments, and now she said we would like to sell this gold out. So now she goes to the jeweler, and she describes everything about the jewelry. Well, this jewelry, I took it from such and such place. This jewelry I was gifted. This jewelry was unique in nature. All kind of things she's talking about. On the table, all this jewelry is sitting. What does the jeweler see? He doesn't listen to this description. What he says, what he thinks, how much is the gold present in this jewelry? What's the price of the gold? What's my profit? How much I'm going to offer? So he has a substantial vision. He's looking at the gold only. And the person who is selling, she is describing the nature of the ornaments and everything. So that's a modal perspective and substantial perspective. The jeweler, the goldsmith, when he's looking at jewelry, he's looking as a gold only and makes jewelry as a secondary in nature. While me as a seller, I'm describing this jewelry, I make the jewelry as a primary thing, and I make the presence of gold as a secondary. So those are the things that we need to start learning, that what happens, how do I make it substantial perspective, how do I take the modal perspective out. So those are things I have to do it my own way. Once I know it, I can do it. If I have the idea about it, I can do it. But if I don't have idea, I can't do it. Right? So with substantial vision, once end up with a soul substance, having embodiment of knowledge. This soul substance is full of knowledge, and that is the characteristics. This soul substance is full of consciousness. This soul substance is full of bliss and everything. These are my own virtues, my own attributes within me. And so substantial vision makes me understand those kind of things. Coming to the next one. With faith directed to eternal true nature of the self, one perceives all knowing characteristics of self. Means I know the consciousness nature of the soul when I'm making my attention to the eternal soul substance. There is absence of inclination of attachment, auspicious, inauspicious inclination, and transmigration fruition of karma. What happens when my vision is very, very, very narrow and directed to eternal soul substance only? So in that perception, there is no presence of inclination of attachment, auspicious, inauspicious inclination, transmigration, fruition. All those things are not, because I have narrow focus, narrow vision. Of course, they are present, but in my vision, they are absent. The child has a pain present, but because his attention is to the mother, so one can say his pain was not there. Different perspective we are using. What perspective you are looking at the same thing? So my vision is so narrowly concentrated on one point only that everything else is secondary, and I just don't consider, and I just say they are basically absent for me. They are present, but they are made secondary, and that's why they are called absent. They are not entirely gone, they are present, but they are made secondary. So remember, the Samaysar, not Samaysar alone, that any scripture that we read, we have to understand what perspective the scripture is written. Let's say we are all, right now we are in conference and we are so many people are there, and I say, I'm Kirit. Other person is Rajni Gosalia. Other is Ankit Mehta. So I'm giving specific name. You mean Ankit Mehta's soul is Ankit Mehta? Or Rajni Gosalia's soul is Rajni Gosalia? No. But right now, my job is to make differentiation between amongst three of us, and that's why I gave name to Ankit or Rajni or Kirit. So even though it's a model perspective right now, but I'm giving importance to model perspective. But when I'm looking at substantial perspective, then I'm a soul substance, and name Kirit is way secondary and or absent within my eternal true nature of the self. That's what this sentence means. So we have to understand the perspective. That's a basis for the Jain philosophy. Jain philosophy, Jain spirituality, one has to understand perspective. And of course, when we come to the next stanza onwards, the 9th and 11th stanza and everything, those perspective thing we'll be talking in great detail. Now, with attention to the alien object, one ends up with auspicious and inauspicious inclination, and is the reason for impurities in the soul. Same thing we are repeating again. Then impurities occur in the soul with his own doing. At this time, non-living material particle became as an instrumental cause. I love this phone. Phone is a matter particle. It's still sitting. For next person, it means nothing to him because it doesn't belong to him. It's my thing. So I create the problem because I focus my attention to this phone, and that's why I created impurity within my mode, and at that time this phone is simply acting as an instrumental cause. Phone did not say that, hey, come here and like me or dislike me. Impurities have not entered the soul substance. Remember, what did we do here? We said that impurities occurred in the soul with his own doing. Now that you said impurities occur in soul, so now I enter the soul substance. And I said, hey, show me, where is the impurities? Where is the impurity? So it says that, excuse me, soul substance says, hey, you know what? I have no impurities within me. I'm pure, eternally pure. So don't look at me. Don't blame me. Find it out who created this impurity. So all-knowing virtue of the eternal soul substance and impurities in the mode.
Kirit, uncle?
Yeah.
Can you back up?
Yes.
That seems contradictory to me, the last 2 bullet points.
Yes.
Maybe I missed something.
Okay. Remember, how did these impurities occur within me? Let's see. I had the impurity of likes and dislikes occurring within me because I directed attention to the alien object, right?
Right, right.
Now that when I directed my attention to the alien objects, I just said impurity occurred in my soul. Soul as a whole. As a whole. Now, when I enter in the soul and I said, listen, show me where is the impurity? Where is the impurity? Who is the creator of the impurity? Where is the impurity hiding? So eternal soul substance says, hey, you know what? I'm not the reason. I'm eternally pure. So go to the mode. Maybe mode did all this crazy thing because I have no control. Mode is acting crazy, and mode did the impurity. Mode by itself directed attention to the alien object. So mode is responsible. I'm not responsible. I'm the eternal soul substance. Remember, let's say I'm entering your house, and I said, this household is creating a problem in the neighborhood. So police complaint occurred. And police complaint occurred, and they come to your place and say, listen, there's a noise pollution going on here. Who is responsible? And Preeti said, I'm not responsible. Ashish said, I'm not responsible. And kid said, oh, you know what? Mom, I'm responsible because I put the volume at the highest possible volume. That's why noise pollution occurred. So even in the Shah family, the problem occurred. But when you go into the Shah family, the kid is a problem. Not the parents, not the mother, not the father, not the grandparents, but the kid is a problem. So here, when the impurities occur in the soul substance as a whole, then when I enter the soul substance, where is the impurity? And soul substance says, I'm not responsible, but the mode says, yes, I'm the problem because by my own doing, I look at the eternal soul substance, and that's why impurities occur. Okay, does this make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's not what I read.
Okay, what did you read?
Back here at this time, non-living, forward, yeah.
Okay.
Impurities occur in the soul with its own doing. So that means there is something inside the soul, but you're saying that's a observation of the soul of the outside.
From outside, yes, you're right.
Right? You're observing an impurity on the outside because of the mode.
Yes. See, remember, noise pollution occurred from Shah family. Not from the neighbor, not from the right side neighbor, not from the left side neighbor, but from the Shah family. So Shah household has noise pollution. So now I'm entering Shah household and say, who is creating this problem? And then kid end up saying that I am the reason.
So that's one part of if you symbolize the house to be the soul, then one part of the house is there causing the problem.
Yes, that's a mode.
That's a mode. So that's what you're saying. So the kid is the mode. Okay, fine. I got it. Thank you.
So all knowing virtue of the eternal soul substance and impurities in the mode have their own independent existence. In this house example, the parents and grandparents, they have their own existence, and the child has his own existence. Grandparents wants to listen to the classical music, and the child wants to listen to the rock music and everything. So they all, under one roof, they all have their own independence. So that's what we are talking about here, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Next. I don't know what was that thing. Okay, I don't know hold it 1 second. Okay. So now, in the right faith, there is absence of auspicious and inauspicious inclination that we already saw about it, we know about it. Then basis for righteousness, basis for dharma starts with the right faith. Remember, do I have right faith? If I have right faith, then I'm on the religious path. I'm on the right path of religion. Till then, I'm just doing the process of entering the path of right faith. So all this thing, what I'm doing, what we are doing, presuming that we all are in the wrong faith state, then the righteousness state starts with right faith. So dharma samyak darshan thi chalu thai che. Religion activities really start from the samyak darshan, right faith. From substantial perspective, there is no impurity in the soul. Remember, as we said, gold is a gold is a gold is a pure is a pure is a pure is a pure. So soul is a pure, soul is perfectly pure. It's eternally pure. There is no impurity in the soul from the substantial perspective, but impurities are perceived due to associative relationship created by soul when the mode draw the attention to the alien objects, right? So that's what we understand very well right now, that its mode is a creator of the problem, not the soul substance, not the eternal soul substance, but the mode is a creator. So now we have to understand what that mode is. So observing vow, austerities, enduring physical hardship, etc., all go into the account of transmigration only, because they all are done because of I'm bringing my attention to the alien objects of the world. And that's why they are, okay, they are auspicious. Observing vow is auspicious thing, austerity is auspicious thing, enduring physical hard, they are auspicious thing. But they occurred because of attention given to the alien object, and that's why they go into the transmigration account. Because if I had drawn my attention to the eternal soul substance, then I'll be going into the account of right faith, in which transmigration will come to an end now. So now Acharya Bhagwan gives us very, very narrow focus of one-sided right belief. It's a very important concept, that one-sided right belief is what? Remember, one-sided and many-sided, we have to understand those things first. Many-sided, this phone is an iPhone, this phone is black, this phone is a covering, this phone is nice, this phone is old, this phone's battery, whatever. Those are multiple-sided factors we are talking. But one-sided belief, how I would like to have it, I love it the way it is. That's a one-sided belief. Right or wrong, we are not talking about one-sided. So here now we are taking one-sided right belief, what it says, with substantial perspective, one perceives all-knowing characteristics of the soul, means Gnayak Panu. When I'm putting my attention to the soul substance only, then I know that this eternal soul substance is all-knower, full of consciousness and eternity, and it is non-doer. It's simply present. From time infinite, will remain for time infinite in the future. Now, the absolute point of view is the one-sided right belief. Now, when I have the absolute point of view, means when I'm directing attention to my eternal soul substance, means a right-sided belief, means Nishchay Nai is Samyak Ekanche. Absolute point of view or substantial perspective will become the one-sided right belief. Then there is absence of inanimate, means jad characteristics of auspicious, inauspicious inclination in it. What happens when I'm directing my attention to the eternal soul substance only? Then all modes become secondary in nature, and those are the modes that they may have auspicious or inauspicious inclination, but they're secondary in nature. Then, so far in the wrong faith state, one had embraced miserable state. Now is the time to embrace divinity. So what I have done so far, until now, I'm the wrong fate state. Now I'm going to the directing my attention to eternal soul substance. So I'm embracing divinity, which is called prabhuta, which will remove the dejection state. Means it will remove my pamartha. So when I'm concentrating on my eternal soul substance, then I'm embracing divinity and I'm rejecting the modal perspective. Then inanimate state, what happens here? Auspicious and inauspicious inclinations are inanimate in the nature. Remember, auspicious inclination occur. How did they occur? Shubh bhav or ashubh bhav, auspicious and inauspicious inclination. How did they occur? Because I directed my attention to outside world object. Their presence occurred only because I brought my attention to the outside objects. And that's why they are called inanimate in nature. Charity, compassion, austerity are the inclinations of auspicious type, and they are inanimate in nature because by themselves they have no knowledge inside. Only knowledge mode has a knowledge capacity. This charity, compassion, austerity, they do not have any capacity to know, and that's why they are called inanimate object. The conscious nature of the soul is an eternal true self, is absent in this inanimate state. And that's why even the knowledge and faith modes of the eternal true nature of the self is absent in this inanimate. So in this inanimate state, even the knowledge and faith modes are absent. So the auspicious and inauspicious inclination occur by themselves by directing attention to the outside world. Faith perspective, if I direct to my eternal soul nature, there's a purity is there. When I direct attention to the eternal soul substance, then my all-knower soul substance is perceived. When I'm looking at the outside of material object, then inanimate objects are perceived. So that's what it means. When one is making substantial vision as primary, then modal perspective becomes secondary in nature. We already talked about it. Now what it says, division of attentive and non-attentive state create 14 spiritual development state, means modal state. Remember, we talked about attentive and non-attentive state, apramad and pramad bhav. They are the reason for creating this 14 spiritual development stage, 14 gunstana, and that's a modal state. That's a paryay dasha. This modal state occurs when one directs his attention to the alien objects. Remember, modal perspective means directing attention to the alien object. Therefore, spiritual development stage means gunsthanak becomes the subject of conventional point of view. Modal's perspective, it's a conventional perspective means modal perspective. Transient in nature, attention is driven to the alien object, and that's why these gunsthanaks are not part of the eternal soul substance because they are part of the modal perspective. Let's see. Impurities occurred in the mode due to one directing attention to the alien object. We kept on saying same thing again and again. Alien objects simply act as an instrumental cause. We know that part. This impure mode occurred due to its own eligibility. See, this is very important point over here. That we just said impurity occurred in my mode. Okay, but how did they occur? My own mode has its own eligibility. Nobody asked this mode to do it. It just simply decided to be in that form. That's it. So it's called yogyata, paryani yogyata. So impurities in mode occur due to its own eligibility. Purity in the mode also occurs because of its own eligibility. So this is the independence of the mode we are talking about. Now, Dravya Drashti and Paryay Drashti, substantial perspective and modal perspective. What are those things here right now? So let's talk about them. Substantial perspective, Dravya Drashti, substantial perspective is pure, Shuddha. Modal perspective is impure, Ashuddha. A substantial perspective is indivisible. It's a one whole globe of thing. There are no division. We are talking into the soul substance that their modes are there, attributes are there, infinite attributes are there. Each attribute at one given moment keeps on producing one mode. Those are the things for the description purpose. Because we cannot perceive indivisibility, we cannot express indivisibility because there is a spoken words have limitation. So we talk with the divisions, but they are existing in indivisible form, and that is a substantial perspective. When I'm talking about divisions and everything, it becomes modal perspective. Substantial perspective is absolute point of view. Modal perspective is a conventional point of view. Remember, conventional point of view means two different objects, we brought it together. That's why it's called conventional perspective. Absolute perspective, the thing, whatever it is, you perceive the same way. That's why it's absolute point of view. The substantial perspective is a real fact, Bhaavaarth, and modal perspective is non-real, Abhutarth. These are the words will be coming in the next stanza onward. So we are getting a little bit familiar with that. So let's see next one. A substantial perspective is a real thing, and a modal perspective is a false thing. False in the sense they are present, but they are not important to me, because once I direct my attention to the alien object, then I create impurity within me. So this mode has a capacity to create impurity within. Substantial perspective primary and modal perspective is secondary. Substantial perspective is ultimate reality. Modal perspective is figurative expression, upchar. All substantial perspective is all knower soul substance. Modal perspective, impurities in the knowledge mode due to object getting recognized. Gnekruta Suddhita. These are the things I think it is going to take little time for this last part to understand. I think we are running out of time. So let's see next slide comes, and then we'll decide whether we should stop here or not. Yeah, I think let's stop over here, and I'll unmute, and if there's any question, then we can just go through it. I hope I can do how to do unmute all. Invite, stop, disable, invitation. Audio option.
અમે કર્યું અનમ્યુટ તો સંભળાય છે?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah. Okay.
તો બધા કરી શકે એવી રીતે અનમ્યુટ ત્યાંથી કરે ને તો.
Okay. So if there is any question, we can entertain those questions, because I know we have gone a little bit speedier fashion, because lots of things we have talked before. So if there is a question, let me know, please.
Crystal clear.
Yeah, that's good. Radhibhai, can you hear also okay and everything, no problem?
Your sound was excellent and the presentation quality was great. Now, what is our objective to use this system for the Gyan Gosti?
Okay, we can do that. We can do that, you know.
So
I'll be able to do it from here, no problem, you know. We'll be able to do it tonight. I mean, if Radhibhai wants to do that, you know, so let me know.
Kirit,
yes.
Because તમે મને કહ્યું ને કે મોનાનો નંબર પેરેલલમાં નહીં વાપરી શકાય.
Yeah.
એટલે we will be only going through with Mona number tomorrow. પણ મેં અત્યારે try કર્યું જોઈ કે while you were doing on the video,
yeah,
that other number that you have, the 646 number,
yeah,
that works very good.
Okay.
If we can have tomorrow at કાલ સવારે for next Gyan Gosti, we will continue with Mona's telephone number only. But after that, we can have both parallel. You can have video conference, as well as anybody who doesn't have the video, we can go on that 646 number.
Okay.
Yeah, Rajni, the question comes as this. the scholars who will be talking, will they have a computer or what facility they will have? Because I don't think anybody has made slides or any visuals. So how will they feel comfortable? That's the question. Kirit Bhai can present excellent.
Kushal Bhai, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to close this one because there are lots of other people are there. And then, Radhi Bhai, if you can call me, then we can discuss further and plan it out. Okay? All right.
Okay.
Thanks, Jai Jinendra, everybody.
Wait.
Yeah, go ahead.
Wait, Uncle.
Yes.
Next weekend is Thanksgiving time. So are we still going to have it?
Well, I'm going to be around. So
okay, that's fine. I'm confirming. That's all.
If it is okay.
I just wanted to confirm.
If everybody is okay, we can continue. If you want to take a break, we can do whatever is convenient to everybody.
No, we're free.
I'm sorry?
We're free. We're good. Wednesday, next Wednesday.
Yeah, next Wednesday.
Yeah, we'll continue.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Namo Randana Namo Siddhana Namo Randana Namo Sesam Namo Randana Namo Siddhana Namo Siddhana Namo Sesam Namo Randana Namo Siddhana Namo Randana 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 Namo Sesam Jai Jinendra, everybody.
Jai Jinendra.
Thanks.